Yo,
Dude,
what's up?
what's up? Nice seeing you again.
Nice seeing you again. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday, my dude. So I feel like today is kind of like a perfect day to be listening to music. You know, like there's some of those days where you're just like, I'm gonna go out and drive for like 20 minutes and just listen to an album or listen to a playlist.
That's what I need every day, honestly.
Dude,
there's not enough time in the day for the amount of music I want to listen to sometimes.
What have you been listening to?
So, listen, hear me out. This is kind of controversial. People love and hate 21 Pilots. Their new album, Scaled and Icy, kind of hits.
You know what? I'm agreeing with you on that one.
Yeah. Every morning when I'm in the shower, I listen to the Outside.
Ooh.
It's like a banger, and when the bridge hits, and it's just like this like retro like synth that goes no no.
Ooh.
Oh my gosh.
Pop off.
It's so different. And we can have a whole podcast about this. But they do like world creation in their albums. I don't know if you have delved too deep into that, but like they do, like all of their albums have a story to them.
Bet.
And like they follow like a timeline, and like they have a whole website that you can like learn about it, but it's like hours of lore and stuff.
It's
kind of
cool.
crazy, but I don't know how this one fits into it yet. But it's all like kind of more retro-y and fun, as well as Dayglow's new album.
Which Harmony House?
Yeah.
Dude.
It's good, right?
And it's crazy. He recorded in like his house.
Yeah.
Like in his like basement or garage.
Huh.
And he was like, dude.
He said he was listening to a lot of some like ship music or something.
Yeah.
And he's like, I want to make an album out of that kind of.
That's a creative right there.
Yeah, right? That kind of hits on what we're going to talk about today, but I need to hear what you're listening to first.
Oh, true. To be honest, my Discover Weekly this morning, it's pretty good.
It's it? Yeah?
It's like, literally I'm just like, ooh, save. Like, that one's good. But Dayglow, definitely, when that came out, was like, crisp.
Yeah.
What's been the most thing that I've been listening to?
Well, I'll talk about Discover Weekly. You keep thinking. Funny enough, at work, all I do now is listen to like lo-fi beats kind of thing when I like do work. I'm a video editor, but I listen to like jazz vibes. It's like a Spotify playlist made by Spotify. It's not like lo-fi hip-hop beats kind of thing, but it's very similar. It's like jazzy lo-fi bops. And I forget to put my Spotify on private session. So now all my Discover Weeklies are just like these lo-fi, no vocal instrumental. Like it's good. It's good music. But I want like my actual taste in music instead of just, because all I do is I listen to hours of it, like just in the background, and it's on my account. So I'm like, I've really messed up here.
Yeah, because now when you like do like the yearly recap, it's gonna be like
it's just
hours
gonna be hours of jazz vibes.
But yeah, so I have like weird short-term memory loss at times. But have you ever heard of Max Leon?
No.
One of his songs off his new album, actually this year, Untitled. It's a short song. It's like 2 minutes, but it is so good.
Nice.
So him, Dayglow, and actually revisited the Bleachers.
Dude, Bleachers are a jam.
They came out with a new song actually, and it's really good. Like, I love when musicians will almost their vocals will be kind of turned down and like put in that kind of that way. It's almost like a muffled radio sound.
Yeah.
But it just adds so much character. So yeah.
The way they experiment, and artists in general experiment with that kind of stuff, is super cool. And like every season of life that they're in, they're like, it's a preference kind of thing, which turns out really cool. That it changes their vibes. But Bleachers, all I hear, like whenever I put on like Bad Sons Radio or something, all I get is I get one Bleacher song, and it's Let's Get Married, and I don't know if that's a sign or something, but every single time I hear Let's Get Married, and I'm like, oh man, it's a great song, but I'm like getting hinted at, and Katie probably like has that on repeat or something.
And Katie's like, wait, what is he? Is he trying to give me a sign or something? Like, what's going on here?
I'm not ready, man. Not ready.
Yeah. But dude, that like you said, like this ties into what we wanted to at least talk about was creatives. Like it's a word that we talk about a lot. We say, you see it, like if you go on Instagram, you'll like see creative, like calling all creatives, it's a creative community.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times we see it and it's like one of those words where it's like, oh, creative, we immediately identify with something. Mm-hmm. Sometimes we're like, what does it even mean?
Right.
Like, what does creative mean to us?
Yeah.
And especially as artists, as people in all of our walks of life, when we're deemed creative, do we really want to be like called a creative, or do we want to be called about something else? Because is there a universal definition, do you think?
I don't know, but creative is better than being called an influencer, I feel like.
100%.
So influencer, we've talked about this before on Silo in our posts, but like an influencer just kind of has a bad taste now because there are so many people that are like misusing it or not doing like what you would think. Influencer is just kind of a word that like, oh, you have a following, you can make money because brands want to advertise through you. Being a creator, I think, still holds up. It's being overused as more people have access to the things they need to become a creator. I don't think it's a terrible thing. A universal definition, though. Someone who makes something out of nothing. Maybe a simple way of going about it. Maybe oversimplified.
I agree, because I think the word creative, something we're also talking about is like content. And like it's one of those words where everybody knows and you immediately identify it with something, but then you're like, what does it mean for me who's putting out this music or art or putting out pottery or things like that? It's like we all derive from the amazing creator himself, but then we also are our own creators. And it's just hard to kind of navigate whether or not we should fully just embrace that as our title, or if it's something that we should be like, yeah, we are a creator, but our actual...
But we're a lot more than just that kind of thing.
So it's like taking it to a next level rather than just being creator or creative. Like we're something else. We're something more than what the world wants to almost push on us as people.
It's a pretty broad thing to say. I think people have gotten away from that and explain it through their niche. I'm a painter, I'm a writer, I'm a photographer, videographer, musician, which then is too specific that it can't be like misused or overused, because it's like literally what you're doing. A creator could be a whole bunch of things, and it could be misused, but you can't really misuse musician unless you play the triangle. Hot take.
Ooh, all those triangle players about to be running up on us.
Please don't come after me.
But I agree, because I think creative is like one of those general topics. It's almost like business. There's so many different types of businesses. There's so many different things. Even within the subsections of artists. Like you'd be a painter, you could be like finger painting, watercolors, like acrylics. And it almost takes us back, one podcast we talked with, Indigo Cosmos, they're like, there's subsections of sandwiches. Well, there's subsections of creatives. It's like a kingdom. It's like there's one top creator that has each given us these gifts, and then within that there's all these subsections, and then people are like, I don't just paint, but I also do music, I also do like it's all connected. It's like better not even like a kingdom, it's more like a web, like a spider web.
Like a food chain web thing that we learned in 8th grade.
Dude, 8th grade, that was a year.
Nice. I think if you want to be a creator, the bar has never been lower. Do you agree? Not lower, but like the entrance to it has never been easier to become a part of.
I would definitely agree with you. I think there's almost two sides to it. There's a stigmatism of like, I am not a creator because I do not create perfect things. or I'm not further along the way. I'm not like this individual who has been creating for like years and years and years. But I also think on the other side of it, it's just, if you create something, you are a creative. Like,
correct.
It's as simple as that. Like, you might be like just beatboxing and down the street. I mean, you're literally in the act of being a creator by doing that.
That's empowering.
It is. And I think there's that stigmatism. Like, if I'm not in this niche, or I'm not doing this, or I'm not this at this level, then I'm not a creative. But that's like, we're human beings. We're naturally creative. I mean, we were talking about the other day, like, beautiful mind was wander. Like, you have a beautiful mind that's continuously creating things, like your thoughts, the things that you try to think of, the songs that you like. I mean, it all comes into one thing. It's like, yeah, it might be the easiest thing to get into, but it's also a challenging thing to get into, but it's also a nice and exciting thing to get into.
Yeah, it's big, and I think one thing that people run into, like you said, is they compare themselves vertically to people that are, okay, yeah, of course I'm not as good as insert name here. Well, yeah, they also have 12 years of experience and you have 7 months.
Very true.
So instead of comparing vertically and looking up at other people, and while that can be challenging and it can get you down, there's also a degree of that's a goal now that you wouldn't have before if you didn't have someone above you to know what's good in the art form. And from there, you can also compare horizontally, which is where you want to be at most of the time. Say, yeah, I'm a photographer and I have 2.5 years of experience. Who around me also has 2.5 years of experience? Where should I be at compared to them in similar circumstances, similar age, similar life experience? Because if you look at someone, and all of those factors can be very variable, but if I am a photographer that, only has a certain level of experience, or can only do it 3 hours a week, instead of the person that's my same age, same experience, but can do it 30 hours a week, they're going to be a lot further along. But you can still take something from, okay, let me analyze their life and see why they're succeeding or experiencing growth faster than me. And you should never be discouraged by that, but just know if I had 30 hours a week to do this, I would probably be right there with them.
Yeah. And it's also, like, you bring up a good point. It's like you're surrounding yourself with people that is equal to your own walk, like where you are in your journey.
Yeah.
Because it makes me think of, especially, like, I think any creative that's been there for 10 plus years, or even more experienced than you are, like if you're just starting out, they're gonna talk, be like, "Hey, I was right there with you." There's there's no doubt in my mind that a creative is gonna be like, "I've always had it like this," because we all struggle, man. Especially, I think, with COVID this year. I mean, there's creatives that might have been 10 years along and just got hit hard. And I think, like you were saying, finding the comparison in the horizontal rather than the vertical, which is huge. And as a creative, and defining yourself as a creative, it's like that's where you find all these like mixed emotions. There's excitement, there's doubt, but that's where you can really truly define who you are. Because, I mean, it's gonna take time to figure it out. You're not gonna know it right away. I mean, like Austin and I, when we first started Silo, we had no idea where we would be right now. We had no idea. And going into it, we this is what we're planning on, but then things change. And it makes me think of like different creatives, different artists who go through different spaces, like painters. I'm going to go cubism, but then like 2 years down the road, they're painting realism, and then they have no idea like how it switched, but it happened.
Yeah.
And so that's huge. I'm finger snapping noises, but I can't snap what you were saying, because that's hardcore, man. It's hardcore.
Yeah, I think there is a definition that fits everyone, but doesn't fit everyone, because it shouldn't have to fit you, because you are unique and different, and you bring your own style and your own personality and your own timing. That it's weird and this is probably what we'll end on for today because we're running out of time here, but just understanding that you are unique, and no matter what, if you, in photography, this is what I know best. If sure, you might have the same editing style as someone else, and maybe that's because you stole it, or you learned what colors you actually like in your images, but it will never be the same as someone, even if it's the same like preset colors, because you will shoot differently, which is composition. You will have different lighting, most likely, because you are the one doing the shoots and in control. You may learn tips along the way about that stuff, but you'll never be the exact same person. And that might hurt some people's feelings that, man, I really want to be, insert name here, Peter McKinnon, Matty Hapoya, Danny Gavertz, just some throw the names out in filmmaking. But you will always be yourself. And that's almost better than being it is better than being those people, because you don't want two of the same person in this world. You can build a personal brand of your name, and people will love that more than Peter McKinnon #2.
Yeah, amen to that. I mean, there's no other individual in this world that's going to look the same as us. So, it's crazy. Mm-hmm. But yeah. I mean, that was pretty solid.
Yeah.
I like it.
Cool, guys. Well, we'll catch you on the next one. See you later. Have a good week, man.
Peace.